All right, so picture this. It's 1992, Barcelona Olympics. The whole world is glued to their screens, but we're not going for your typical sports story, not today.
Right.
This deep dive, this is about how the 1992 Dream Team, they didn't just win gold, they kick-started a global phenomenon.
Yeah.
Think about it. How did the NBA become this international powerhouse? I mean, it's everywhere now. Well, we're going to dig into that.
Okay.
We're using excerpts from 1992 Dream Team, Birth of Global Basketball. Get ready for some behind-the-scenes stories, a couple of international incidents, and honestly, some lasting impacts you might not expect.
What's really interesting is that the whole Dream Team story, it actually starts with a loss.
Oh.
You see, before 1992, the Olympics, it was amateurs only. NBA pros couldn't play.
No pros. Why was that such a big deal? What changed?
Well, at the Seoul Olympics, 1988, the U.S. team, all college players, they lost to the Soviet Union.
Oh, wow.
It was a huge upset.
Yeah.
A real wake-up call for American basketball. That loss, it showed everyone just how strong international basketball was getting, and that if the U.S. wanted to get back on top, they needed their best players.
So FIBA, the International Basketball Federation, they finally caved, changed the rules, opened the door for NBA players.
Exactly. And that's where the Dream Team comes in.
And what a team. Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Charles Barkley.
It was unprecedented.
Talk about a stacked deck. I mean, with that much talent, all those big personalities, was there ever any doubt they'd deliver?
You had the biggest names in the game, all at their peak, playing together for the first time at the Olympics. To lead them, they picked Chuck Daly,
Okay.
the coach of the back-to-back champion Detroit Pistons.
Right.
He had the experience, the respect to handle those guys. But of course, there was drama.
Yeah, the Isaiah Thomas thing. What was the deal with that? Was it just about basketball, or was there more to it?
Well, Magic Johnson, in his book The Last Dance, he says Michael Jordan didn't want Thomas on the team. There were rumors, rivalries, personal stuff, things that went way beyond the court. Even with all that talent, team chemistry, it matters. It can make or break a team.
So they finally get this all-star team together. Do they live up to the hype?
Their performance in Barcelona, pure dominance. They averaged 117.3 points a game. Winning margin, 43.8 points.
Wow.
Their closest game, the gold medal match against Croatia, they won by 32 points.
That's incredible. But was it almost too easy? I mean, did facing such weak competition, did it help them, or did it maybe mask some weaknesses that a stronger opponent could have exploited?
That's a good question. It's hard to say for sure if they'd have been as dominant against a team that could really challenge them, but their practices, those were reportedly just as intense as any NBA game.
Okay, tell me more about these legendary practices. What went down in those sessions?
Magic Johnson, he tells a story about a scrimmage. His West team, with guys like Clyde Drexler and Karl Malone, they were down by 14 points to Jordan's East team.
Oh, wow.
But Jordan, classic Jordan, he leads this comeback and hits the game-tying shot at the buzzer. These stories, they show the level of talent and just the drive on that team, even in practice.
I heard they actually lost a scrimmage. Is that true?
Yeah, it is. The Dream Team, they lost a scrimmage to a team of college all-stars.
What?
It had future NBA stars Grant Hill, Bobby Hurley. This loss, it just underlined that even with a roster full of superstars, teamwork, chemistry, it's crucial. It wasn't just about showing up and winning.
It's amazing that even with all that talent, they still had to work together and face challenges. But I think their impact, it went way beyond the basketball court.
Right.
It was global.
Absolutely. And that's where things get really interesting. The Dream Team, they became more than just athletes. They were global icons.
Yeah.
They captured the world's attention. It was their talent and those larger-than-life personalities.
Did any of the players talk about their experience with fans? What was it like for them?
Charles Barkley, he's got some wild stories about the level of fame they encountered, like thousands of people just gathering to watch him walk down the street.
Wow. Like rock star status. What kind of security do they need to handle that?
Barkley described leaving the hotel surrounded by thousands of people.
Wow.
Helicopters, motorcycles with armed guards, police escorts. Nothing like a typical Olympic team would experience.
So global icons, but what about their impact on the game itself? Did the Dream Team change how basketball's played today?
Without a doubt, the Dream Team's style, the athleticism, fast breaks, individual skill, it left its mark on how basketball's played in the U.S. and internationally.
We were just talking about how the Dream Team's impact, it wasn't just about what happened on the court.
Right.
They sparked this global passion for basketball.
Yeah.
And the NBA, they saw that as a huge opportunity.
This is where the NBA's business side really shines. They saw this wave of global interest, and they didn't just ride it, they took control. The '92 Olympics, they were broadcast in 69 countries. Millions of people got their first taste of the NBA. Before the Dream Team, only 23 international players in the league.
Wow.
By 2023, 120 players from 40 different countries.
That's a massive jump.
Yeah.
It seems pretty clear the Dream Team had a direct impact on bringing the NBA to a global audience.
Absolutely.
So what did the NBA do? What steps did they take to make the most of this global interest?
They were strategic, expanded into new markets, didn't just broadcast games, they built a presence. Set up offices in key international markets, a direct connection with fans and potential players overseas.
Okay.
They launched things like Basketball Without Borders, bringing young players from all over the world together for training and competition.
Wow.
Not just about developing talent, but fostering cultural exchange, starting from the ground up.
That's a smart move, creating lifelong fans. Did this new global focus change how the NBA scouted and recruited players?
Completely. NBA scouts started looking everywhere for the next generation of stars. They realized talent wasn't limited to the U.S. You had guys like Hakeem Olajuwon already dominating in the NBA before the Dream Team.
Olajuwon, he was a trailblazer from Nigeria, showed that international players could not only compete but excel at the highest level.
Exactly. He paved the way for guys like Dirk Nowitzki from Germany, Pau Gasol from Spain, Tony Parker from France, Yao Ming from China. The list goes on.
And these weren't just role players.
No.
They became the faces of franchises, won MVP awards, led their teams to championships. The NBA transformed. From an American sport to a global showcase of talent and culture, this globalization, it must have had a huge financial impact on the league.
The international market became a major source of revenue for the NBA. Merchandise sales, TV deals, sponsorships. The global fan base, they wanted everything NBA.
Everybody wins. The NBA gets this boost in revenue, fans get to see amazing talent from all over the world, and the international players, they get to live their dreams on the biggest stage. But this shift, it didn't happen overnight. What were some of the challenges those early international players faced?
Adapting to the American style of play, that was a big one. It's more physical, faster paced than what they were used to, plus the cultural adjustment. Moving to a new country, learning a new language, dealing with being away from home.
Yeah.
And then the pressure. Representing their country, proving they belonged on the court with the best in the world.
It's incredible to think about what they went through. They didn't just adapt, they thrived,
Mm-hmm.
brought their own unique skills and perspectives to the game. Who were some of those early international stars that really stand out to you?
We talked about Hakeem Olajuwon, two-time NBA champion with the Houston Rockets, a true pioneer. Then you've got Dirk Nowitzki, revolutionized the power forward position with his shooting, a 7-footer hitting threes like a guard, led the Dallas Mavericks to their first NBA championship, became a global icon.
And Pau Gasol, can't forget him,
Right.
formed a dominant duo with Kobe Bryant, led the Los Angeles Lakers to multiple championships.
Gasol, he was a skilled big man who could score inside and out. His impact on that Lakers dynasty, undeniable.
Yeah.
And he was a key player for the Spanish national team, won Olympic medals, world championships. These guys weren't just great players, they were ambassadors for the sport, inspired a new generation of international talent. Their impact's still felt today. The NBA is more global than ever. The level of competition is insane. But what about the future?
That's what I'm wondering. Where do we go from here? What trends do you see shaping the game in the years to come?
One exciting thing is the talent coming from non-traditional basketball countries. It's not just the U.S., Spain, Argentina anymore.
Oh, okay.
We're seeing players from Greece, Serbia, Cameroon, even Japan making their mark on the NBA.
It really seems like the sport is reaching every corner of the world.
It is.
What else is on the horizon?
Another trend, the way playing styles are evolving. The game is becoming more positionless. Players of all sizes handling the ball, shooting from outside, defending multiple positions. Look at Giannis Antetokounmpo, 6'11", point forward, dominates in the paint, handles the ball like a guard.
Yeah, his versatility is a perfect example of how the game is changing. And with this focus on three-point shooting and spacing, we're probably going to see even more creative and dynamic offenses in the future. It sounds like the game is becoming even more exciting, unpredictable. What does this mean for the future of the NBA as a global league?
I think we'll see even more international players in the league. As basketball keeps growing in popularity, you'll have more and more talented players wanting a spot on an NBA roster. That competition will only make the league better, and the fans will benefit too.
The NBA will become even more of a global showcase, the best players from around the world competing for the championship. It's a really exciting time to be a basketball fan.
It is. The 1992 Dream Team, they might have started this global basketball phenomenon, but it's the players, the coaches, the fans around the world who are keeping it going.
We've talked about the past and the present,
Mhm.
but let's look ahead. What's your long-term view? Where could all of this be headed? So we've gone from that dream team in 92 through the rise of all these international superstars, and now we're looking ahead. What's next for basketball on a global scale?
This is where we shift from looking at what's happening to what could happen.
Yeah.
The future of basketball globally. It's wide open. That's what makes it exciting. But if we look at the trends, some pretty interesting scenarios pop up.
Okay, give me your boldest prediction. What could really change things?
What if the NBA itself, what if it becomes decentralized?
Decentralized.
Not in terms of who runs it, but where the talent comes from, where the games are played.
Mhm.
Imagine this. Instead of every player wanting to come to the U.S., you see these top-tier leagues popping up all over the world. A Pan-Asian league, just as good as the NBA. European leagues holding onto their homegrown talent instead of them coming to America.
So instead of one central hub for basketball, you have multiple power centers, each with their own style, their own rivalries.
Exactly. It wouldn't hurt the NBA. It would make the whole sport better. A global network of leagues, maybe even intercontinental playoffs, championships.
Now that would be something to see. But wouldn't that change how NBA teams scout and recruit?
Absolutely. It would be less about bringing in talent from outside and more about working with these international leagues. Maybe even player exchanges, partnerships.
Like a global free agency, but on a whole new level.
And think about the cultural exchange. Players experiencing different styles of play, fans getting to see teams from outside their own region. Everyone wins.
I'm really liking this decentralized future. What other big ideas are you thinking about?
Here's another one. What if technology totally changes how we watch basketball? We're already seeing virtual reality, personalized highlights, interactive streaming.
So it's not just watching a game. You feel like you're there, courtside, maybe even in the game.
Exactly. Imagine being at a game in Barcelona, live from your living room in Chicago, feeling the energy of the crowd, talking to virtual avatars of other fans.
That's a whole other level. And what about training and development? Could we see VR simulations that help players analyze their opponents or practice different game situations?
For sure. And not just for the pros. Imagine kids in, remote villages getting virtual coaching, playing against other kids from different continents in virtual leagues.
That's amazing. Globalization goes from traveling to connecting virtually.
Who knows? Maybe one day we'll have interplanetary basketball leagues. Okay, maybe that's a little too far out there.
Hey, you never know. But let's get back down to earth. What does all this mean for the everyday fan?
It means the future of basketball is going to be more diverse, more accessible, and more exciting than ever. You won't just be a fan of one team, one league. You'll be part of a global basketball community.
I love that. So as we wrap up this deep dive, what's the one thing you want our listeners to think about?
The 1992 Dream Team, they were to spark, but this globalization of basketball, it's a story that's still being written. We're all writing it together. Stay curious, be open to the changes, and enjoy the journey.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Thanks for joining me on this exploration of the world of basketball. And to all of you listening, keep the conversation going. Let us know what you think about where the game is headed. We want to hear from you.